So what I'd like to talk to you about today is the importance of understanding the story that you tell yourself. I think a lot of the time we don't even realize that we're telling a story. We think that we're somehow experiencing something that's just objectively out there happening. And if we don't realize that it's quite different than that, then life will be quite challenging with very few opportunities for us to do anything different. And so that's why understanding that you're telling a story and understanding the importance of the story that you're telling is very, very important. It makes a huge difference. It opens up new opportunities for you. It allows you to be empowered so that you can actually start to choose in your life in ways that work for you, because wouldn't that be nice? Because if you are going through life not realizing that you have choice, not realizing that you actually get to make choices in your life, then that's going to be a very difficult life. And I would say that it seems as though that's how a lot of people are living their life, as though they don't really have any options or choices. And as I'm saying here, a lot of that can be remedied by understanding that it's about the story that you're telling. Notice that what you experience is actually experienced through your subjective senses. So a lot of the time, we allow ourselves to believe that there is an objective reality that we are experiencing. And language often adds to this kind of illusion, because we talk about objects and relationships with objects, and so we have this idea that we're interacting with an objective world. However, if you pay attention to what's actually going on, like right now, you could just observe right now and notice that right now, what you're actually experiencing is entirely subjective. What you're actually experiencing is happening very intimately through your senses. So you could try and see right now if you can find anything that's happening outside of your senses. And if you find something, then my question to you would be, how do you know about that? You see how that works? Everything that you know through your senses. And even the things that you would call the past, memories and so-called facts that you're drawing upon as evidence for how things are and how you know what things are, all of that is also presently experienced through your senses. So just want to take a moment to make sure that that's clear. So notice right now, presumably, you're looking at a screen and you're hearing my voice, right? And so the conditioning for most of us is to think, I'm sitting here and the screen is over there, and then there's Joey on the screen, but he's really somewhere else, and his voice is being transmitted somehow magically through the technology, and then it's coming to my ears and I'm hearing it. And so we think, I'm experiencing this thing that's objective, that's out there. Well, how do you actually know about that? What is the actual experience? The actual experience, well, let's try this out. If you're courageous and you're not presently driving or something like that, and it's safe for you to close the eyes, you could try closing your eyes. Now you're still hearing my voice, supposedly. With your eyes closed, where is that voice actually being heard? Where is the actual hearing happening? Not just the sound of my voice, but any hearing that might be taking place right now. So there are other sounds that you might be hearing And if you just pay attention to what the actual experience is the hearing happening at a distance from you? Is the hearing happening outside of you? And then you could also explore in a similar way with sensation. So by sensation, I should clarify the feeling, like tactile sense. And so you have certain feelings that you're experiencing. And you could just notice whether those are happening outside of you or if they're happening actually inside of you. So your mind might tell you that those sensations are evidence of something that's outside of you. Like you might experience some sensations that your mind tells you are evidence that you're sitting on something, if you are sitting on something, that is, right? And so your mind might say that those sensations mean a chair. The sensations mean something outside of me. But notice that the sensations are actually experienced inside of you, not outside of you. And then if your eyes are still closed, I invite you to slowly open them. And the reason to slowly open them is just so that you're not shocked by all of that information, and just start to take it in really, really slowly. And notice, if you pay attention closely, where is all of that actually experienced? It's actually happening here. It's not happening out there. It's just a trick of the mind and language that says it's happening out there. But the actual direct experience is that it's happening right here. Or put another way, can you actually find a separation between what you perceive as out there and the perceiving that's happening right here? Furthermore, can you find a separation between you, the perceiver, and the act of perceiving? Is there any division to be found? Can you find that space between those things? And if you're like most of us, you can't, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying that you experience everything subjectively. So the mind is conditioned to imagine that there's an interaction with an objective reality. But the only evidence for that interaction with an objective reality is subjective sensing. So that's the basis, that's the foundation of what I want to explore today. And if that's new to you, then it's possible that will take a little bit of exploring for that to actually start to click for you. But it's well worth doing. I would certainly encourage you to continue to explore that continually, regularly, over time, because that can be very helpful. And how that can be helpful will hopefully be clarified with the rest of the exploration today. So now, if it is true, as I'm proposing, and as I'm suggesting that you can actually discover directly for yourself, that you're only experiencing a subjective reality, not an objective reality, then how do you know what any of this is and what it means? I suppose this would be true even if there was an objective reality, but we're taking it even a step further by clarifying that it's only a subjective reality. How do you know what any of it is? How do you know that any of the things that you think you know? Just think about all the things you think you know. Think about the things you think you know about yourself. And then think about the things that you think you know about other people. And think about the things that you think you know about the world. and how it all works and what it all means. How do you know that? What's the basis of that? Especially when you consider that actually all that you know is some sound and some light and color and shape and movement and some tactile sense and proprioceptive sense. I mean, that's all that's going on. So how do you know what it means? I'm proposing that the only way you know what it means is by the story that you tell. And that's why the story that you tell is so powerful. But for most people, most of the time, the story seems to be invisible. So it's this force that's there that is profoundly influencing every moment. And yet, for most people, it's completely invisible. They don't even know that it exists. They don't even know that they're telling a story. They think that life is happening to them. They think life is out there. Life is all about the circumstances and the situations and the conditions and the events and the people and everything that's doing to them. And so they're waiting for all that other stuff to change. You know, I'll get to live my life. I'll get to be happy when, fill in the blank, right? When all the other stuff happens, when all the other stuff changes, when the government changes, when the economy changes, when my spouse changes, when my parents change, when the weather changes, right? Then I'll get to be happy. Then I'll be free. Then I'll be okay. Wouldn't that be amazing to actually be empowered to choose your life instead of waiting for those outer things to change that you don't actually have any power to change by your own declaration, right? I mean, if you say those things exist out there, then you cannot change them.